Hi everyone, this is Garrison from Iron Kingdoms at War. Fighting a little bit of a cold, so please excuse the raspy voice. I hope you can hear me okay. Anyway, I want to do another little terrain tutorial, this time on making custom crates. You can see this crate that I put together recently using some new techniques. I like that it has an Iron Kingdoms feel to it because it looks like a traditional wooden crate, but you've got the metal riveting and metal plates on it that give it that Iron Kingdoms feel to it, the Warmachine feel. So I want to show you that the materials for making this are really inexpensive and easily attained. What I'm going to use is I'm going to use some 3/4 inch wooden blocks, which are available in good quantities from a craft store like Michael's. These are just 3/4 inch plain wooden blocks. There's a brand called Lara's Crafts that makes a whole line of little wooden pieces. On my blog I've made some barrels out of wooden pieces before. You can look at that, but these are easily attained, and they're going to be the core of our crate in the end. But we don't want it to look like this, so we're going to dress it up. You're going to need just a really cheap thin piece of balsa wood that you can cut into slats for the crate, and then the for sale sign is really just our source of plastic to make our metal reinforcements for the crate. And you could also use it for rivets if you wanted to. Alternatively, you could use cardboard for your metal support. So what we're going to do is we're going to turn this into this with just a little bit of work, and I'm going to walk you through it. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do to get this project underway is I am going to cut some slats to go on the side of this. Now, you'll notice that balsa wood, as with all wood, has a direction in which the grain runs. Alright, so what I want to do is I want my slats to go this way. That'll make them easier to cut out, and then later when I put the barrel together, the grain will look much more natural. So I'm going to make sure my slats end up getting cut in that direction. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use the cube to get the exact correct length of these pieces, because these are going to go on the side of the cube, and by marking them as such, I know that the slats I cut out in the end are going to be nice matches for the side of this crate. I missed there, that's okay. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut across those lines. Okay. Not a deep enough cut. Alright, there we go. I'm going to cut across this line. And I'm going to cut across this line. Alright, so what we've done is we've cut out some pieces that are going to go on the side of this crate. Okay, in the end, to dress it up. Because in the end, what's going to happen, those are going to make these vertical slats and running up inside up and down the sides of this crate. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm just going to kind of randomly, because I want it to look irregular, have that Iron Kingdoms feel to it, start cutting out bits to make the slats. I do not want them all to be the same size for a couple reasons. One is just the aesthetic if I want a randomness to it. And the other reason is I'm going to have to mix and match these pieces to cover the width of a crate. And so I'm going to need some different sizes to choose from. Alright, in the end, and you'll see how that works. So there's a whole bunch for me. I'm going to take my next piece that I cut out. Now I'm guessing that there's a bit of this where my measurement or my cut was off, and maybe they end up being a little bit too long. And that's not the end of the world. We can fix that up as we go with when we're applying these slats, or even after we've glued them on. So I'm cutting these, creating a whole bunch of slats. I'll probably have more than I need here. So it shows you how little balsa wood goes a long way on this project. And you'd probably be making multiple crates. So I say, good, why not make a whole bunch of these slats at once? So I'm cutting more. Again, trying to vary the size. Alright, you get the idea of how this is working. I want a couple bigger pieces now. So, in a matter of, what, a couple minutes, I've got my slats ready to go. Alright, so there we go. There's all our slats. They're going to go on the side of our crate. So in the end it looks more like this. So what I'm going to do now is start to glue these on. So let me get my glue ready and we'll move on to the next part of the video. Okay, now it's time to glue on our slats on the side of our Warmachine / Iron Kingdoms crate. And good old weld bond glue is my favorite. Any white glue is going to do the trick. So what I'm going to do is always have scrap laying around, just put a pile of glue, and then I'm going to take a brush that I can live without, because brushes are a great way to apply glue to small items such as these little slats, but and you can usually wash the glue right out of the brushes, but just in case I like to use a brush that's, you know, cheap and expendable. So I'm going to glue the back of that slat, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the side of my crate and I'm going to go as close to the edge as possible, actually overlap the edge a little bit for that edge piece, and I'm going to put that on the end. Now to speed things up, you can glue each individual slat, or quite honestly you can do a side at a time. Apply the glue to the side of your cube and inlay the slats. Now you want to leave a little gap in between them, just because it'll have a better look in the end. You could put them nice and tight together. You don't want too much of a gap or it looks unrealistic as a crate, but you do want to lay those in next to each other like that. I think I need a little bit more glue in that gap there. So put it in. You put too much glue in there, what's going to happen is the glue is going to squeeze up between your slats, and it's repairable, but it's kind of a pain. So try not to put too much glue on your cube if you're going to apply it all at once like I just did. So what I've got is I've got my slats there. I'm going to do another side just quickly so you can see this goes nice and fast. I'm going to liberally but not too generously apply some glue to the side of this cube. I'm actually going to put a little on the side of that slat I just put on there. Pick a nice wide one for the side that's going to overlap the edge a little bit, and then continue to lay in my pieces. Now if at this point you've discovered that your slats are a little too long, maybe your original measurement was off, looks like I've done okay here, but if they were off, you could, you know, cut them down at this point and just manually go in there and make these a little shorter, because what you do not want is for these slats to be longer or higher than the cube, and there's a reason for that that's going to be very obvious in just a couple minutes. Okay, so we've got another side done. We've got two sides done. I'm going to finish this off, and then you can see what that looks like, and we'll move on to the next step.